What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys have an amazing day so far. Like always, if you're new to the channel, I want you guys to hit the thumbs up first, and only if I bring value to you guys through this video, any other video that I have, then I want you guys to hit the subscribe icon. At the beginning of season 6, I did a video on 7 ways on how you can improve your Octane gameplay. I've seen a lot of you actually watching that previous video, which led to me wanting to do one more for you guys. This would be a more strategic based video to prepare you for season 7, which is right around the corner. Especially now that I already have over 1200 kills with Octane and almost 50 wins in just 4 weeks since that previous video. I understand that is not a lot, but for casual players like myself who only play 1 to 2 hours per day, I'd rather think it's actually pretty good. If you'd like to check out my previous video, you guys can ultimately check it out right here on the top right corner. So number 1, don't overextend. This is something I do quite a lot. Meaning that if you distance yourself from your team too much and you get down, your team will actually take longer for them to reach you and ultimately provide cover fire. And this can actually lead to people ended up thirsting you and just taking you out of the game completely, ultimately causing more problem for your team, especially if you are in ranked gameplays where you are in platinum or even in the higher elos. So number 2, be aggressive. Now, knowing that you not to overextend, you also need to know that Octane is an extremely aggressive champion. So naturally, you should be the first one player into a fight. And unlike Lifeline, who is a defensive player who should actually stick to the middle / the rear of the team fights, you should be always in the front lines and ultimately ready to engage the fights. So number 3, know when to back down and when to heal. So this is extremely easy to get caught up in the moments, specifically when you're in the middle of a fight. It's extremely easy to just kind of move into a fight and not think about your heal or how many shield you have left. So it is extremely important for you to know when to back up. So it's usually the way I do things is as soon as my shield goes down and I start seeing my health a little bit too close to my mid range, I decide to back out because I know the moment I hit my stem cell, it's gonna take quite a bit of my health away on top of what I'm getting shot at. So remember that, keep that in mind, that you need to be able to actually heal and know when to back down, especially if you are the one starting the engagement. Number 4, control your stem and use it to back. So this is something that in the previous video I mentioned, which is ultimately know when to stem and how to stem properly in a sense, and don't overuse it so you don't drain your life completely out. So in this case is after a while of playing Octane, I started to realize that I was able to actually use stem back to back without even paying attention to my health anymore, because naturally I knew how long it took for me to heal back up to the actual full health and when to use it again in order for me to use just the little 10% of health that I originally lost. So keep that in mind. As much as you use Octane and as much as you get used to it, start paying attention less and less to your actual health as you use your stem, and you realize that naturally and instinctually you're going to start figuring out when to use it and how much health you have over a long period of time. So this is actually extremely important, specifically when you get in team fights, because this will tell you if you have enough health for you to use your stem to get out, or whether or not you should be using your stem to even get into that fight in the first place. So keep that in mind. It is something that we're definitely working towards, and if you can actually pay into your little small things like that, it can actually be worth the winning in some aspect of the games. So number 5, air combats. This is something that I talked about quite a lot in the previous video. This is something I've tried to master, and I'm actually becoming a lot better, as you guys can see in my previous videos. I have done air combat quite a lot, and it's actually my favorite strategy to use against ramparts, Costa Gas, and ultimately Watson fences. So those are things that I've actually used the jump pad to get over in a sense and actually get behind the enemy team in order for me to be able to engage them. Now keep in mind that air combat is using the jump pad and actually being able to aim down range and shoot the enemy and hit your target will actually bring fear into them in a sense, because they would just not expect you to do that much damage or even hit them in a sense, or possibly break a shield like I tend to do quite a lot. So if you're able to use your jump pad and get behind the enemy team as well as do some damage and break their shields, the enemy team ultimately is going to lead to them to make some mistakes. If you're in the lower elos like silver, browns, or even in some cases gold, if you're able to use your jump pad and get behind the enemy team while engaging them mid-air, a lot of them won't know what to do, and this will actually cause them to make quite a bit of mistakes. Some of them will overextend, some of them will actually depart from each other. This will lead to you to be having a 1-by-1 pace. So keep that in mind, use that tool whenever you need it to, and ultimately make it as skillful as possible to you. Number 6, control your landing. This is something that it is kind of common sense in a way, but it's something that I've seen people still fail at quite a lot. Along with mid-air combat, you have to be aware of where you're landing. So understand about shooting mid-air, but you also need to pay attention as to where you land, because I've seen quite a lot of people falling off the edge of the map. It doesn't have to be specifically to Octanes, but it can be to anybody with like lifelines, pathfinders, or anyone in general. I get it, I understand, it's very basic, but it's something that needs to be brought up in a sense of which you need to be pay attention to and control your landing. Also, when you are in mid-air, when you're shooting pretty much in the air and you use your jump pad to engage an enemy team, you have to understand that you are pretty much being targeted by every single one of them, because you are exposed at that point. If you are mid-air and you no longer have any sort of cover, the entire enemy team will be targeting you. So you gotta keep that in mind and always be prepared to kind of back out of that fight and potentially get behind cover as soon as you land. This is where landing and control your landing comes into play. You want to make sure you land near a cover so you can stick to behind the cover if you get too low while you're mid-air. Number 7, communication. Communication is extremely important. This is something that, especially now that I'm playing with the Discord and I'm playing with my team specifically, it has quite a lot kind of gave me a wake-up call, because I'm an extremely aggressive player. Even when I used to play Pathfinder specifically, I used to main Pathfinder, I was always an extremely aggressive player. So now that I'm playing Octane and he's got the speed to come into your face and the jump pad to actually get behind enemy teams, I tend to kind of just do that and not very quite communicate with my team. So communication is extremely important, because without proper communication, letting your team know when you're engaging an enemy, you pretty much kind of put yourself by yourself, and you let pretty much letting your team fight a 2v3 at that point, because chances are that you're gonna get down, and then at that point the enemy team is probably gonna thirst you, specifically if you are in rank. Let your team know when you're engaging, healing, and ultimately what your intentions are. Another thing with communication is the jump pad. So Octanes, not particularly me, because I tend to ping every single one of my jump pad in order for me to let my team know where it's at. But a lot of Octane that I play with, whether they pick Octane over me or not, they tend to not ping where the actual pad is. They obviously, you hear Octane saying, you know, launching pad, but at the end of the day you don't know where he's sending it to. So a lot of the teammates will just walk by it and not even realize that it's there. So in order for your team to get to a specific location a little bit faster, you may want to kind of ping the location, say, hey, here's my jump pad, use it. And this actually give you points towards your banners markers. So, you know, make sure you ping it so your teammates give you little points towards your banner marker, as well as, you know, you help your team actually reach the goal that they need to. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like the video and ultimately this brought value to you guys, then I want you guys to hit the like icon, really, but hit the subscribe icon, hit the notification bell so you get notified as soon as I upload another set of content, whether it's similar to this one or just some montage or just some general gameplay. So make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and ultimately I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I really want to thank you all for the amazing support. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of the week and have a good day. Thank you for watching.
Charging shields. Come on, come on.
10 seconds to the ring. Close at least. Grenade. Get over here.
I'm down.
GG guys.
Action in progress.
chapters left, but